I've spent more than 2 decades of my life seeking to discover the primary reason, the root cause, that explains why so many people today, adults and children alike, suffer from chronic fatigue and so many chronic degenerative diseases. As I did so, my search led me to unravel the story of magnesium, copper, iron, and ceruloplasmin and how they are designed by nature to interact to maintain our health. In the process, I also discovered what happens when these interactions are interfered with, primarily as a result of following the accepted yet highly flawed health recommendations we are all too familiar with. When I say discovered, I don't mean to imply that I am the first person to make these discoveries. The actual and original discoverers began laying out these truths in the medical literature 100 years ago, only to have their findings ignored. I will explain why shortly. At best, these recommendations are the result of ongoing human errors on the part of the medical profession, government health agencies, commercial farming and food manufacturing industries, dietitians, and most nutritionists, and even proponents of nutritional supplements. At worst, they may be due to a more nefarious agenda, one designed to prevent us from achieving the optimal health and abundant energy we all deserve. Overall, I've come to recognize that it's the first factor, lack of curiosity and human error, that is mostly responsible for the healthcare crisis our nation and other nations face. Getting and staying angry about it serves little purpose beyond triggering the body's stress response, which in turn can rapidly deplete its mineral stores, especially its magnesium status. Still, becoming aware of the ways in which we as a populace have been misled and misfed, whether intentionally or not, is vitally important if we are to find our way back to the truth. Looking into the distant past to understand the present. Everybody wants to know what's new. I've learned from a day I spent with a brilliant marketing consultant that it's far more important to understand what's enduring. I consider the biggest overlooked clue to understanding fatigue is to look at what happened when oxygen began to accumulate in the Earth's atmosphere long, long ago. According to astrophysicists, 2.45 billion years ago, what is known as the Great Oxygenation Event, or GOE, occurred. The GOE is also referred to as the oxygen catastrophe, or the oxygen crisis, because of how it caused 99% of the existing species on Earth to die out. Prior to this time, Earth's atmosphere was what is called a reducing atmosphere, an atmospheric condition in which oxidation, rusting, is prevented by natural mechanisms that remove oxygen, the primary one being iron oxides in both the land and the oceans. This removal process is known as mass rusting. That's the first part of the clue. Why? Because the oxidative stress in the body that saps energy and causes disease also causes our tissues and organs to rust. The vast majority of species alive on Earth before the GOE were anaerobic, meaning they did not require oxygen to survive. The oceans were much shallower than they are today. Then, a species known as cyanobacteria, which contains copper that facilitates energy from oxygen photosynthesis, began releasing oxygen as a waste product into the atmosphere. It did so to such a degree that eventually there wasn't enough iron oxide to capture all of the oxygen that was being released. A mere 1% accumulation of oxygen in the atmosphere is what caused the GOE, and since oxygen is toxic to anaerobic species, they were wiped out because they had no way to deal with the oxygen buildup. Prior to the GOE, the Earth's atmosphere contained 0.1% oxygen, yet the increase to 1.0% is estimated to have wiped out 99% of all life on the planet. Given this ancient devastation, it is easy to understand why oxygen is regarded as the second most reactive element on planet Earth. Only fluoride/fluorine is more reactive. Oxygen in excess is toxic to aerobic beings as well. Yet that basic biological truth is not properly taught in medical schools.
to keep listening to this audiobook. I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.